Why don't young people get more opportunity, and or why are their voices not heard? And so thanks for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. I truly do. And so as a part of the ongoing 4 videos a day that I do, and with some specific sort of connotation towards different segments and things, always check out the links in the description below, as well as the description of my channel, so you can sort of see all of the madness that goes on in terms of vlogs about nothing. Because sometimes stuff about nothing is the most important stuff that you can know, you know? At least that's my opinion. That's why I like knowing stuff about nothing. That's like sort of the joke, right? But yeah, so I want to talk about why young people don't get any sort of opportunities. And okay, so I find myself at a very weird time in life, right? In terms of, can you imagine if you're not 36 years old, you were the first generation to come up with the internet. I'm not, as savvy as all the 18-year-old cats and younger out there who just pick up a phone and know how to use it. In terms of, it's been an arduous process at best, acclimating to events after major change, 9/11, the '08 financial housing crisis collapse, the pandemic. I've talked about these things in videos before, and the thing is, as a middle-aged person, and going back to that so we can make a point here and bring it all around, is just a short time ago, I was young as well, right? And I remember being 14, 15, 16 years old and acutely telling myself to be aware of how nobody seemed to pay us no mind. They paid no attention to children, to young adults, and adults paid no attention to my peer group growing up, in terms of like, we voiced our concerns and they would fall upon deaf ears, and policy procedure would never change. And in fact, in most cases, it just got worse, when in fact, young adults stand up for themselves all the time, but for legal reasons, legality stuff, right? Sometimes I think that parents, to no fault of their own, think of children as an asset in terms of being able to control that person until they're a certain age. And at 36, I'm still right where I was when I was 18. Young people are not only the voice of the future, but oftentimes they're the only voice that's relevant. The future is theirs, like literally. That's not a figurative speech, form of speech, or a figure of speech, right? That's trueness. There's truth in that. And so I live in a world where the guy who's going to be the president, and check this out. So let's say the president is 80, right? Whoever that is, in November, and then come January when you get sworn in. And the youngest voter is 18 years old, right? Just to put this in perspective, there is 62-year difference between the two, right? And talk about misguided and conflicts of interest, in terms of how on earth can a populace be represented when the highest office in charge, it could literally be their great grandparent. Now, again, this is not to say that I love my elders. I have my best friends in my life. The people I've been closest to have been my grandparents. I'm a lucky guy in that I had the privilege of being able to spend so much time around my grandparents as I did. I truly feel like that. And so my gripe has never been with old people per se, just more so with rhetoric that refuses to change. And even when there's red flags everywhere, in terms of, let's listen to young people, let's listen to what they have to say, I still feel like they're essentially just put off to the side. And it's like, sort of, when you get around to your 40s and you're knee high in all these kinds of debt, then then you'll be in the best position to vote or whatever, or understand voting and be able to make a difference, as you should be in a system that requires participation but encourages laissez-faire. I don't get it. And so I've publicly advocated, and if you haven't seen that video, I think the voting age should be lowered to 16. And I think that, I mean, is it crazy to say that maybe there should be an age limit on the presidency? That's interesting to talk about. I think I'd like to talk about that in a video shortly. Yeah, about whether or not there should be an age requirement for, the president of the United States. I mean, there's an age requirement for law enforcement, for the military, for certain other kinds of jobs that require a lot of experience and time and stuff. And so why isn't there any regulation as far as senators and or presidents who are 100 years old, and again, just with no sarcasm, have no aligned interests with their mass constituency. I mean, their base and their peer group, sure, okay, that's fine. But when end of life care is still in the shape that it's in, and when Social Security is still a continued debate for its funding and its future, and the fact that generations like my own and younger than us now have to really, really consider the fact that Social Security might get taken away from us. And if there's any indication of this happening, it's right now, as policy continues to be the way that it's made, and people continue to ignore the voices that are the most important. And again, no slight to old people, but you've had your time, and young people need a more powerful voice.